Well, you read the title of the video, you saw the thumbnail. I have my notes. I actually typed them out. I was originally going to write them out in my notebook like I do for my chapter summaries, but I just figured I should probably organize what I'm thinking when it comes to a less than 3 minute video. So, uh, without further ado, we finally have a date. The Netflix live action One Piece series finally has a release date. It's coming out August 31st, and I have every intention to sit down, point a camera at myself, grab a bowl of popcorn, and just watch it, record my live reactions to things, and then obviously I would like to talk about it. We know we're getting 8 episodes. I took a look at Internet Movie Database. It seems Luffy and Zoro are in all 8 episodes, with each member of the crew joining and having one less episode dedicated to them. If this all goes well, then we will see the crew as they head off into the Grand Line and maybe head off into a season 2. But I am getting ahead of myself. Without further ado, hello Internet, I am the hero of Julios, and we are going to talk about the trailer for the One Piece live action Netflix series. So the trailer starts off with just a shot of Windmill Village, and we see it cuts immediately to a completely different location where Luffy is walking up to the Going Merry in a ship dock. So the boats are one of the major parts of the. Actually, when you think about it, the boats are a major part of early One Piece, but in this live action, they are the major part. Like, they are a big set piece, and we are going to be really up close and personal with the appearance of everything. What I'm trying to say here is I'm still trying to get over the goat thing. So, obviously, initial reactions to the appearance of the Going Merry in the live action and what the Going Merry actually looks like, it's kind of weird that they went with this hyper realistic sheep head. But the more I look at it, and the more. Actually, now that we've seen the trailer, we've seen sort of more of the tone of what they're going for. A more realistic sheep head is a better choice, I think. I like it, so that's what I'm going to go with. But a slightly unimportant but side question on my mind is, are they going to call the Going Merry the Going Merry, like most people do, because that's what they call it in the anime? Or are they going to call it the Merry-Go, which is the name in the manga? Or at least in the Viz translation manga. My guess is Going Merry, because that's what every other English translation does, but that's just a little thing on the top of my head. So after we see the Going Merry, we finally get to see what Luffy looks like in his full getup. So the guy playing Luffy, they actually do have his scar, which is actually really well done, and I'm extending this to the rest of the cast. Everyone looks like their characters. The only real exception to that is that Usopp does not have his long nose. I don't know if that is a production decision or they just couldn't make it look realistic enough. Whatever the reason, we don't have a long-nosed Usopp, which I'm gonna say might take out a couple Usopp related jokes. If they get all the way to Water 7, I don't know how they're gonna make Usopp look like Kaku, because, the nose thing was kind of the thing. But aside from that, everybody looks very on point. I've heard a lot of people already say how much they really like Zoro's actor and how he looks, but I'm actually more excited about Luffy. I think he looks like the Luffy we see in the manga itself. So, very well done. Very well done on the makeup and costume department. After that, we see a few more shots. We got one of the Baratier and one of Shell's Town before Luffy, tells Zoro, hey, I think we'd make a great team. Let's join up. And you see right behind Zoro, there's this glorious leader poster of Captain Morgan. I'm wondering if that's going to be a replacement to the statue of himself, or if this is going to be all over Shell's Town, if there's going to be posters of him, because the dude was such an egomaniac. So, the only other thing of those two shots, the Baratier, I want to go back to that for a second. I like it. Looks awesome. Looks just like the manga. Great. I see the little fish head in the corner there. I'm hoping we get a bigger shot of that. I'm not a big fan of the neon sign. I mean, neon lights aren't really a thing in One Piece. I mean, I know right now in the current manga, we're at a location where the technology for that exists, but in a, I want to say 1400s, maybe 1500s technological level, neon lights are not so I'm wondering if that was just the lighting, if there's like candles behind it, whatever the reason, there's a neon light in the middle of all this wooden technology. Could just be a creative choice, but it took me out of it, but that's because I am a nitpicky superfan guy. On the note of boats, the scene after Luffy and Zoro, we see the boat that Nami stole from Buggy, so we're not going to get the Going Merry right at the start of the series. It seems everything is going in the order it's supposed to, as the crew, will form together one at a time, and we'll get to Usopp, we'll get the Going Merry, and then we'll move on to the Brautier. But after that is when the real action starts. We get like quick cuts here and there of things left and right. Most prominently is a sword fight between Zoro and some mysterious dude. This could be Kabaji, this could be Mr. Seven, because I did hear a rumor that there was going to be a Mr. Seven flashback. If it is Kabaji, I think it kind of makes sense, because if you look in the background, you can see these tents and these flames, like there's just like decorations all over the place, so it's kind of like Buggy's territory. It's a clown, it's a circus. But if it is Mr. Seven, then this would be a flashback of some sort, and I actually really like that. We're going into detail on things that would have been gone into detail if we had followed Zoro up to the day he met Luffy, but instead we followed Luffy up to the day he met Zoro. The only thing we haven't seen Zoro do in this trailer, though, is we've only been seeing him use two swords. So I'm wondering how they're going to pull off Zoro's three-sword style. Are they actually going to have the actor put a sword in his mouth? Obviously, behind the scenes it's probably something lightweight, but how are they going to do him talking? Is he just going to, is he just going to talk with something in his mouth? Or are they going to dub over his lines with the sword in his mouth so we can hear him coherently? However they do it is fine. It's just we haven't seen him put a sword in his mouth yet. So I don't know if that's just so that other people, like, I don't want to say the normies, but the people who watch Netflix and don't watch One Piece might be weirded out by a dude with a sword in his mouth, at least this early in getting people hyped. Whatever the reason they chose, Zoro is not doing his three-sword style yet. After that, we get Nami explaining to Luffy, I assume, the dangers of the Grand Line, that there are big monsters, big pirates, big ocean, and we see shots of the Lord of the Coast, we see shots of Alvida's pirate crew, and then we see a shot of Buggy the Clown. And I just want to say, I'll start with the Lord of the Coast. Loving the Lord of the Coast, very well detailed, looks like the anime version of, but given, a 3D texture. We see a brief moment of Shanks. We never see Shanks' face, but his hair looks great. He looks like red-haired Shanks. So the Lord of the Coast looks really cool. And Buggy, okay, I think this is where the trailer did the best, in my opinion. Look at that face. Look at Buggy's face. Look at the teeth. Look at the nose. The nose has actual skin texture because, fun fact for those of you who don't know this, Buggy's nose is real. That is a real big red nose. Buggy does not have a clown nose that he wears. So the fact that they went into the detail on giving it an actual skin texture to match the actor is great. But he looks like the definition of a dangerous, terrifying clown pirate. Of course, for anyone who gets past that, we know Buggy is not as terrifying as he seems, but this is great. This was a great shot. I'm looking forward to seeing this guy's performance. I'm hoping he's as equally energetic and crazy as Buggy, so I'm looking forward to it. After that, we get a minor joke about them not being a crew yet, and then we cut to another shot of Garp. We don't see Garp himself. We see Garp as a tiny part. We see his ship, which is really cool. It's got the dog head and everything. I think he's throwing a cannonball off of it, or a cannonball is firing past it. Whatever the reason, It looks good. I know I keep saying it looks good, but it does look good. Everything looks good. And the soundtrack, if you haven't seen the trailer yet, go watch it right now, because the soundtrack is actually pretty good. It's got a nice epic sweep to it. Kind of more of a movie trailer than a TV series trailer, but I think it really fits the One Piece action, so to speak. The final two scenes we see are the Straw Hat crew, the East Blue Five, all together on that barrel, cheering into the sky. I know, because I've read the manga, that this is a scene from the very end of the Netflix episodes, because if they're covering the first 100 chapters, then they'll probably end on that shot before going to the credits, or maybe teasering a season 2. And then the other scene we get, which is the most important one, Luffy doing the Gum Gum pistol. We see his arm stretch all the way out, and we see it come all the way back to punch Alvida. And I think they were pretty smart with this. I am an editor myself, and I really like how they decided to follow the fist with the camera rather than showing you the stretch. It's a good way to hide any of the bumps and bruises when it comes to special effects. Because, let's face it, if done improperly, Luffy could end up looking like Michael Jordan in Space Jam. So that's something you have to risk when doing a stretching video. I know I myself actually tried to make a video of my arm stretching out. It didn't go as planned, but I'm more interested in seeing all the other Luffy techniques. For example, the Gum Gum Balloon. How are they going to have that guy, inflate himself outward? But that is where the trailer comes to an end. Luffy throws the punch, and then we get the big logo. I actually have it here on my monitor, and that is it. That is the trailer that we have. I'm hoping we're getting a second trailer before August 31st, but August 31st is only 2 months away, so I'm looking forward to it. Now, for my final thoughts, I'm hoping that because this was a epic trailer, that this was more for the sweeping adventure feel more than anything, that's the reason why there wasn't a lot of comedy in it. There were two jokes. There were two jokes throughout the whole trailer, and it got a chuckle out of me. My dad laughed at them. He thought that was funny. My mom thought they were funny. I showed this trailer to literally everyone I know. They got me to chuckle, but there was nothing that I was like, oh, this is going to catch the humor of One Piece. It has a very Avengers feel, a very, like, when it comes to the comedy of the Avengers. So I'm wondering if it's going to go a more serious route. I'm hoping it doesn't, like, turn One Piece into a drama thriller. I would rather it stay, a lightheart, goofy adventure. But the trailer doesn't seem to lean towards the comedy, and that's the only thing that's really concerning me. Well, there is another thing. One Piece is a very high-energy series. There's a lot of screaming and running around and punches running rapidly at each other. Now, I know that a live-action series, you can't have the speed that anime characters have. I'm not expecting the fight scenes of Zoro to throw like 800 slashes. What we see in the trailer is exactly what you should be expecting for a live-action adaptation of anime, considering nobody in the real world moves that fast. And live-action version of anything is kind of taking that cartoony world and giving it human physical form. Overall, there is a limit to what human beings can do, so you have to accept that when moving into the medium of live action. I'm going to say overall, I'm giving the trailer a 7 out of 10. The 7 comes from the actors looking exactly like the characters, the boats are all looking cool, the sets look great, the music sounds great. I would say where it starts to lose points with me is not a lot of energy in the trailer. The fact that a lot of scenes were at night, and One Piece is a very colorful, cheery, bright series. So I'm worried that we're going to have a lot of nighttime scenes, and that's not really what One Piece is about. For the most part, we skip nighttime in One Piece a lot, except for the battle with Kaido, but that had a lot more impact to the moon being involved. And heck, even what Captain Kuro did, during the actual East Blue Saga itself, that was one scene at night. That was not the whole battle. So I'm a little worried about the lighting of the Netflix series. And then finally, my greatest concern is, if you know anything about Netflix, live adaptations of anime, they're kind of batting 0 for yeah. They're not very, it's not very reassuring. Like, they don't have a great track record. So Netflix, I'm sorry. I like I said, 7 out of 10. 7 out of 10. I have good faith that this will be enjoyable. But you have a bad track record. The only thing keeping this up to 7 is the fact that I know Oda has a big hand in this, and as a result, there's going to be a lot of safeguards, I hope, because the actual creator of the series probably has a decent amount of control. But that's just me. I honestly want to hear other people's opinions in the comments. I haven't watched anyone else's reviews of the trailers yet, so I'm looking forward to watching those. I've got my friends to talk to at my One Piece card game nights, but I want to know what you think. Are you super hyped for this? Are you dreading it? Are you in the middle like me, where you're just like, there are so many reasons to be worried, but I really want this to work well? Whatever your reasons, let me know in the comments below, because this is going to happen. It's going to happen August 31st, and for better or for worse, this is going to be exciting. So thank you for watching as always. I will see you in the next video. This is the Hero Fulios, Xing out.